project is a temporary street art piece, so it's moving around the world one site at a time, and it's in each site only for a day. So today we're down here on the river until about 5, 6 o'clock. In public space, architectural space, and it came out of an opportunity actually in the state to respond to one of 3 sites, and so it came out of that, and then I was interested in it being a repeatable action. But the project's origin goes back about 10 years, actually. But it hasn't been, it's usually only happened about once a year. So it's not quite as much as it sounds like. I mean, when I drew the piece, I drew it red. So it's always sort of been red. And when it came time to like get it made and fabricated and everything, you know, it was clear that like red was just the right direction. It was, you know, it has all sorts of childhood associations. It's energetic. It's playful. I mean, it's all the things that the piece operates based on, both the tactility of it and the charisma of it and all those things, in order to pull people into the story of what it's doing, and also to get them engaged in thinking about, you know, their own city and places in their city and where they would put it. And so the project very deliberately sort of operates with good intentions and good humor to sort of make that possible. You know, when you have a bit of that, it makes it easier to get things to happen. Winter, the piece was actually down in Perth for a festival in Perth, Australia, and before that, in November, it was in Abu Dhabi, and it's also been to Barcelona and Taipei and Chicago and the States. Well, the reaction's been great so far. I mean, we kicked off in Torbay, and really positive right from the beginning. We had sort of people following it through different towns, and then it was very, very good in Plymouth. Actually, some of our busiest days so far were in Plymouth, and it's been great in Exeter. We're happy to have a really full sunny day for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. I think we'll see something different today. I mean, on High Street, for instance, it's not so much. I mean, of course, there's tourists here, but it's more of a sort of working street also for people, and I think it's been across the board. I mean, we definitely people who knew about the piece and came out to see it. That's already happened here this morning. We just had it installed and people waiting. So there's definitely like a fan base that's sort of moving with the piece, and people who are discovering it each day. And then, of course, we have some people who, you know, yesterday walked by and sort of were, well, maybe, you know, then yesterday on High Street were sort of like, thought it was there to hold up the Guildhall because it's falling down.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and that's fine, you know, that's great. I mean, it's so it's all over the map. I mean, and it wouldn't be England if everyone didn't have an opinion, so that's okay. There's a sort of secret code to it. I mean, the piece is put out there very much as like an invitation. And so whether someone wants to come by and take a pic and send it to a friend someplace else, or hear about what it's doing, or understand how it's moving through sites and the architectural relationship of the piece and the history, you know, those are all great. And so I don't really, you know, one of the things about putting something in public is you're putting it out there, and you shouldn't be under illusions that you can control what people are going to think.
Sure.
About a year ago, actually, and then this whole project started a year and a half ago, almost 2, and so a site visit for me really means a lot of walking around with a camera and a sketchbook and you know, a laser meter, just sort of looking at spaces and looking at opportunities, really. So there were a lot of things actually in Exeter that were interesting possibilities. Like actually the bottom of Stepcote Hill, there was a site there that we wanted to do, but we got refused on that one. But a bunch of different stuff. So I mean, but that's part of it, is sort of you go and you're looking at different things. And like when I came down here, like it was clear to me that this would be an interesting place to be, like on a Sunday, but not on a Monday, you know. And so I think between this site and you know, Guildhall, and then yesterday at the Alms House, you know, those are all, you get a different kind of flavor.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be moving on to Weymouth, so we'll come by Wednesday. We'll be installing 4 sites in Weymouth, which is, of course, where the Olympic sailing stuff's going to happen, and then on to London for like about a week in London. And I think, and mostly in London, it's just going to be concentrated sort of in the South Bank area. There's going to be some great bridge sites if